Hello, are you there? May I come in? You may. Sorry it took so long. Not at all. You did say it would be night when... I knew it! Oh, there's the other guys. I didn't see the art before. I guess, yeah, those are like the past incarnations. What? Is this the man? Never seen him before. You. It's them. What is the meaning of this, Mel? Where the hell did you get your information? Michelle, I came from the future. In my time, Morgana's already dead. I'm here to set her free to erase... You spilled it, Mel, didn't you? No, I didn't. Why do you think I told you about him? So you know I didn't come from me. I can't believe he... Mel, how could you? What happened to everything you said earlier? That you would make the right decision, that you would help. You two friends? For the 1000th time, I met him in the forest this afternoon. I've never seen him before then. And who told him? It wasn't me. I have nothing to gain from talking. True enough. He's just messed up in the head. That has to be it. He has all these crazy delusions. Souls turning to witches the next life. He's mad, I tell you. I thought he believed us. Mel, am I wrong that you feel remorse? Am I wrong that you don't want to be involved in this? You shouldn't be adding to your list of wrongdoings. No, you should be doing what you know is right and let Morgana go. Are you sure you're not friends? I swear to God. If he was a friend, why would I snitch on him? You're not the one to let friendship get in the way of what you truly desire. I would never. Michelle, we have to get out of here. Ugh. If he so much as twitches like he's gonna run, cut him in half. Michelle. Maybe you come to your senses if you know exactly how what you're doing now will affect your next lives. But Morgana comes to bear such incredible loathing for each of you that the person you care for. Who, pray tell, lives life fearing how it will affect their necks? You are right, he's out of his mind. Listen! You chose the wrong man for your little sermon. Next life, souls. Ah, damn it. How can I get them to believe me? I've seen it all, but I don't have any of those memories. How can I convince them to believe something that hasn't even happened to them yet? How can I get them to release Morgana? How can I save her? Michelle, please, you have to run. You're in danger here. I would love to, but the door's blocked. So tell me, who told you about Morgana? Morgana herself. Who told you? I'm telling the truth. I know what I know because she told me. I suppose it doesn't matter where you got your information. Getting rid of you still means one less person who knows. Michelle! Kill him. Ugh. Don't. Can I play with him first? No. Do it quickly. I'm tired of listening to this madman's ramblings. No, please, don't do this. We were only here to save your souls, because we believe you are truly evil. So why? Well, as it turns out, they are truly evil. Ugh. Oh, alright. I'm not happy about it, though. You're putting more than just your next lives at risk. You'll lose the people you care about in this life, too. People are going to die on the day of the Harvest Festival. Many people are going to die. You may be able to avoid that if you set her free. And also change your own fates as well. I can't listen to this anymore. Kill this madman now. Don't, please. I'm begging you, don't. It really is a damn shame. I was hoping I could have some fun with you. Ow. Michelle! It happens in the blink of an eye. The man stands forward, and the moment his sword's out of its sheath, I'm toppling backward. Michelle, no! Why? No, please, no, this can't be. Say something, Michelle, please! Michelle! Snake! Snake! Mission failed. Giselle's screams fades into the distance. As the three men watch, I make a heavy thud against the cold floor. You clean up the mess, Mel. Last thing I want is that damn nun suspecting anything. Don't you vomit, boy. Make any more of a mess or you'll be joining him. All three of their voices are growing muted now. As my vision goes red, I realize I can see my own body off in the distance. What pains me the most, though, is that Giselle had to witness that too. But everything's slipping away from me so quickly, I don't have time to come up with anything to say, before it all goes black. Okay, this seems like a bad ending. As I suspected, it's just a dead end though. It's not really like a... I mean, it's unique in the sense the dialogue's unique, but the ending card itself isn't unique. You just die, I guess. Congratulations, you die. Wow. Alright, so let's go back though. I imagine if you tell... Obviously, if you tread carefully with Mel, maybe you get a different outcome. But since we're here, might as well go back to when we talked to Mel in the beginning. Instead of saying we were God, let's just say, you know, we're just under a tree or whatever. You might get slightly different dialogue for that. So let's go over here. So instead of saying we're God, I was sleeping in a tree. That's still kind of weird though. But I guess you were homeless, maybe. You know, you're just like a beggar. It would make sense. It sure looked like you just popped out of nowhere. You imagined it. It was so sudden your mind misinterpreted what you saw. Is that too much of a stretch? Yeah, you're right. I must have been seeing things. People can't just appear out of thin air. On nice days like this, I'll sometimes slam a tree and take a nap too. And then roll over if I fly on my face. So I can relate. Michelle, napping in a tree. I can't even imagine it. Me neither. Also, it seems that, like Morgana's, I'm the one who can hear Giselle's voice. But that does explain how you know my name. I am, you know. You look like an acquaintance of mine. Okay, so most of it is the same, I imagine. Happens. Oh yeah, that happens to me now every now and then too. Jeez, you had me spooked for a second there. Okay, this time he's much more amiable. Well, while on one hand I'm glad he bought it, I feel perhaps a little too trusting. Well, he's the kind of guy who just keeps on walking when he runs across something out of nowhere. I can't read. He's the kind of person who just keeps on walking when he runs across something out of the ordinary, pretending he doesn't see anything. Not the most admirable traits, but we're in the clear. I assume you're from the city then, if you're out here? Actually, no, I'm a wanderer of sorts. Oh, huh. Did you come by to see the Harvest Festival then? Harvest Festival. You don't know about it then? 3 days from now, we're holding a festival at the church to celebrate the spring harvest. 3 days. Morgana died when the bell, told noon day festival, which means you got that much time left. The first time we held the festival, we're going to make it a big event. Something really memorable. It's going to be memorable, alright. And the young girls died behind the scenes. There's 3 days on, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going a little bit fast. I just want to see the differences in the dialogue. I assume it's like around over here we see a slightly different dialogue. Sure, yeah. Church open, friends, followers, and wanderers alike. You know, instead of like heathen, he says wanderers. I feel like that's the biggest difference. It's a really strange appearance. Okay, so I assume, yeah. We'll just go from here. So I assume this is mostly just the same, I imagine. Hello? I've heard of her? Okay. Just making sure everything's the same. So I'm not skipping anything that's new. I assume, yeah, then there's little sister things, like, I'm gonna be your One-chan. Okay, and then over here again. I don't know if it matters, like, this extra points you get for saying you're just sleep in a tree rather than pretending you're God. But, let's, use, this save, and then, tread carefully. So I imagine picking the right choices will make it less likely he'll go to his, his accomplices and kill us. We don't have much time, but it's in our best interest to tread carefully, or we're gonna die, literally. There's too much we don't know yet. It would not be wise to make a rash decision. With him as tense and suspicious as he is right now, it won't be easy to get his key or persuade him to tell us how he ended up here. Furthermore, my experiences with 3 Shades tells me that if I'm not careful, I could be putting myself in unimaginable danger. A brief flash of what might have happened had I spoken too soon crosses my mind, sending a chill down my spine. Skills. Had I spoken too soon crosses my mind, setting a chill down my spine, which is funny because that's exactly what happened. You saw an alternate future, Michelle. The one where you died. If I want to get Mel on my side, I'm going to need something more, something decisive. Something that'll convince him he needs to come clean and set Morgana free. Regardless, being cautious isn't going to mean much if I can't get them to let us stay in the mansion. We need to be nearby to keep an eye on things and gather information. How to go about that? How to go about that, though? Assuming he's not voluntarily involved, maybe all we have to do is ask for his help in setting Morgana free and he'll work with us? Nope. Tried that already, Giselle. Perhaps. Being so direct will only invite more suspicion, but she's probably on the right track. When I met his shadow, it was burdened with great regret. He begged me to help him. My remark about the saint's blood was based on stories I once heard about a person whose blood was said to have healing properties. Stories. Maybe they haven't made it out this far, I don't know, but they tell of a girl born in a distant village, a saint, and a daughter of God. I thought that perhaps the nun might be the saint spoken of in the stories, and I was hoping for the opportunity to see a miracle performed with my own eyes. I have to say, you looked more angry than excited. I didn't hide it very well, I guess. Maybe it appeared that way to you, but I've never had a very friendly face. If you say so, as long as you're telling the truth. I myself have to wonder, why did my remarks seem to bother you so much? What? Is there something more to this saint's blood than you're telling me? No. Something that would make you want to get me alone and interrogate me. There's nothing. I just, didn't want to scare anyone with all the talk of blood, since there was not actually any of it. I didn't know about the story, so... It's just medicine, I swear. As you say, it's got nothing to do with the saint in your stories. I'll change the subject. Could I ask you to convince the nun to allow me to stay here? Huh? Weren't you listening? We can't take anyone in right now. Which is why I'm asking for your recommendation. You live in the premises, don't you? I'm more a supervisor of sorts. Then you should have some say in the matter. Why? Until the Harvest Festival is all I'm asking. Why not get a room at an inn? If you need money, I'll spare you some coin. I must stay in this mansion. But why? Those are my instructions. What? You know the stained glass window in the chapel, behind the pulpit? I was named after the Archangel Michael depicted there. The angel came to me in a vision, instructing me to watch over the festival here. From where you were standing, you couldn't possibly have seen the window in that much detail. You couldn't. Oh, I get it. You've been to the church before, and you're just acting like you haven't. There's a metal door off to the side leading to an observation tower. Yeah? You can see the tower from outside. Inside is a long spiral staircase, not made of stone but wood. There's a single door at the top of the stairs. How? What are you really here for? All that vision stuff is a lie. I'm not here to cause you any trouble. In fact, I'm on your side. You show up out of nowhere and expect me to believe your nonsense? All I ask is for you to allow me to stay until the day of the festival. If you can do that for me, then I'll make you the promise I could not before. I have not forgotten your pleas of salvation. I know you want to be free. Let me guess, you saw that in a vision too? If you want to call it that, then you can. I've never once asked for you to save me. You're mad. But, fine. I've got nothing to hide anyway. Okay, you're mad, but not as mad as I thought. Not as crazy as I thought. Or not as crazy as last time anyway. So, fine, I won't try to, summon my friends and kill you. If I say you're a friend, the Satanists will be willing to accommodate you. Wait, I already told you were my friend, didn't I? I'll try and persuade her. I don't know what your deal is, but try not to cause any trouble, okay? For your own sake. I won't. Only until the festival. You're not getting another day out of me or her. And this isn't your home, so don't act like it is. It's ironic, because it is. For the longest time. I mean, it's everybody's home, I guess. You know, Jacopo, Yukimasa, Mel, and Michelle's home. You know, all of their home. They've always lived there. Of course. Or at least, you know, they lived like a big part of their life, you know, in this mansion. At least in the future, anyway. Of course, thank you. You know, I never did get your name. It's Michelle. Ah, right. After the Archangel Michael. Just like you said. I've never really cared much for Michael, to be honest. He weighs your soul in one hand on his perfectly balanced scales, then delivers his punishment with the sword in his other. He's not an angel of salvation. Out of curiosity, could you perhaps be... No, never mind. It's turned to a bit of a storage area, but there's an open room you can use. I will show you the way. I appreciate your courtesy. Okay. Despite our ramblings, you know, I guess he will let us stay here. Well, this is just lovely. There are cracks in the ceiling, the walls peeling off. There is a bed at least, but it's coated in dust. This was a storeroom where I lived here, as I recall. Sorry about the condition. I didn't choose a bad room for you on purpose, I promise. If you want to sleep somewhere more comfortable, you're not going to find that here. Not a problem. I'm grateful to have a room at all. If you say so. Well, I have work to do, so I should be on my way. I'll talk to the Saintess as I promised. I imagine she'll make supper for you at some point. But do keep your crazy talk to yourself around her. I'll make a note of it. Thank you. See you. Well, he made it work, somehow. Somehow. It's a lot of pressure being under that much suspicion, huh? My heart was pounding the whole time. And that the Archangel Michael came to me in the vision stuff, I never expected to go there. Why'd you tell him that anyway? Because I didn't think telling him I know the future and I need your help to change it would have gone over very well. It never works, you know, as we've demonstrated in the last save. And also just in general, time travel stories, it just doesn't work. Unless it's a comedy, I guess. Unless it's like a comedy, you know, story. Maybe it works. Otherwise, though, it usually doesn't. Besides, those who yearn for redemption have a tendency to latch on to the spiritual. I thought taking advantage of that would work to our benefit. You know, I bet you make a pretty good con artist, Michelle. I did what I thought was necessary. I know. Besides, you have every intention of keeping your promise, don't you? Whether or not Mel can be saved is up to him. I will lend him my hand, though. Oh, you say it's all on him, but deep down you know you're on his side. We're complete strangers to this Mel, but I can't bring myself to think of him that way. We just met today, but it feels like reuniting with an old friend. He's the same old Mel, and you were actually there, a part of his life, which I imagine makes the sentiment all the stronger. You don't feel the same way? I don't think of him as a total stranger, no. However... nothing. I was about to say something incredibly cynical, but I caught myself. What? It's nothing, don't worry about it. If you say so. I was always the one with nothing to offer, powerless to be of anyone's help. So everything's motivating me is not concern for the boy, but a desire to prove that someone like me can do something. Well, it didn't take much arm twisting to get him to give us a room, so who knows? Maybe he'll come over to our side easier than either of us expect. Him giving us a room was not simply out of kindness. Keeping me nearby allows him to keep an eye on me. He doesn't trust me, but he also doesn't know enough about me to decide what to do yet. He needs time, and doing this gives him that time. If he decides keeping me around is not to his advantage, he will act accordingly. Do you really think he'll do anything to hurt you? Mel's a kind boy, and, well, to be frank, I don't think he has a spite for it. It's hard to say, but even if he doesn't, we still have the other two men to worry about. You know, he could totally just snitch on us. Nevertheless, his cooperation will undoubtedly be the easiest of the three to gain. We were fortunate to run into him first. What makes you say that? Did you ever have a chance to see the shadows trapped in the mansion? Shadows. I might have. But around the time Hayden Rose passed away, I wasn't really there anymore. I stopped thinking, stopped trying to make sense of the things inhabiting the house. I had become merely another part of the cursed mansion. I was only able to converse with them after I had reclaimed myself. I suppose much like the rules differ between the realms of the living and the dead, so too do they differ for those who have lost their grip on reality. As I was searching for a way to get you out of the tower, I encountered and spoke with 3 men's shadows. Of the 3, Mel was the least threatening. He bears a great deal of regret. He yearns for someone to save him. I heard him muttering, "This isn't what I wanted." He doesn't want to be involved in this. Someone else is holding the reins. My first guess would be the Lord, but regardless, they are not equals in this endeavor. If he wants out, then maybe we would have agreed to help if we told him we're here to save Morgana. Carelessly revealing our hand at this stage did not seem wise. It would have never gotten to this point if it were so easy to stop. So I guess our first task is to earn Mel's trust. Morgana's death is in 3 days. We have until then to get all 3 keys. It won't be easy. I mean, we weren't even present in this world until today. Exactly. We have no one to vouch for us, no one who even knows who we are. But we have knowledge, quite a bit of it in fact. We not only know what happens in this era, but you show me their next lives as well. From that, we can deduce how they might have behaved or to whom they have ties with. You're right, we do. We know things we should have no way of knowing. We can use that knowledge to our advantage. Their various interpersonal relationships are where we get our edge, I think. They each have their reasons for locking Morgana up, and if I'm right, they're doing it for other people. It's these powerful bonds driving them. Mel's driving force will be his sister, for instance. Are they mere bonds, or is it fate that ties them together? You're right. We should find and talk to his sister. Mel is more likely to act if it's coming from her than us. I agree. If his sister tells him to stop, he won't have any reason to continue his involvement. Knowing how the first cell ended makes me slightly uncertain. But for now, we can work under the assumption that he does genuinely care for her. What do you want to bet she's somewhere nearby? I mean, she will be. It was her death that sparked the chaos on the day of the Harvest Festival. Ah, right. It was. No, you're exactly right. But what I was going to say is that people tend to keep those they care about most. Is that people tend to care those that I can't speak. I can't speak. Yes, mouth noises. What I was going to say is that people tend to keep those they care most about close by. They would appear to have a bad tendency to focus too much on the facts. That was entirely unnecessary of me. Giselle did not need to be reminded of that. I'm sorry. What for? For being careless with my words, inconsiderate. Oh, no need to apologize for the truth. Besides, you and inconsiderate are like oil and water. And today you're the fire to my oil. We have 3 days to stop this tragedy. Let's get to work. Let's. We'll probably have more luck asking than just searching for her. If we can't find Mel, the nun might know. Off we go. I don't know, sometimes, something that happens to me sometimes when I, read out loud for a long time. I don't know if I ever said it, but, my mouth gets tired, I don't know what it is. It's eventually I start kind of mumbling, which I gotta stop doing. But, I guess it's just fatigue or something. Not really fatigue, but, So, I gotta, do some mouth stretches, if that makes any sense. La la la. Otherwise, I start making more mistakes and then, can't read stuff. Anyway. Or at least, more like, it's more like mispronouncing. But anyway. As I step into the chapel, I see an old man waving to the nun as he heads for the door. The man is practically beaming, and judging by the vial in his hand, He's happy about more than simply having the chance to see her. Is that the Saint's blood? According to Morgana's account, a disease began spreading through the city at the Harvest Festival, eventually eradicating the population. In a time like this, where medical knowledge is so limited, a plague would be almost unstoppable. And the sight of so many people dying so quickly could appear to them the work of a demon or a curse. We come from the future, so we know just how dangerous this is. But they have no idea. Morgana described it as a tale that could have only taken place in that era of miracles and spirituality, and about that she could be more right. Could we maybe warn everyone against taking the medicine? I assume the sickness was caused by them ingesting blood at any rate. It's not medicine they're being given. The bottled disease like some sick joke. Ah, sick joke. But if we could convince them to stop taking a saint's blood, then maybe that would prevent the city from being destroyed. But the fact that it's being distributed in the house of the Lord, and peddled as a miracle cure, plays right into their deep-rooted spirituality. Would it even be possible to convince them otherwise? And besides, it's not them we came here to save, but... No, that's very too far off our intended path. We need to find the truth and save Morgana's soul. Putting ourselves out like that is only get us unwanted attention, make people suspicious, and we don't have that kind of time. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. It's just knowing what they're doing to themselves, I couldn't help but think that maybe there was something we could do. Especially considering how it all turns out. I understand the sentiment. You know, it's like reading a visual novel, and you know it's gonna end badly because the writer uses something called dramatic irony. And dramatic irony is a literary device where you learn information about what's going to happen through the text, but the characters don't know, you know? Like, you know what's going to happen, but the characters don't, and then you just watch it unfold, and you can't stop it, you know? And that's the point. It's supposed to make you feel that way. Anyway, or rather, I understand your reasoning. But for me, Morgana takes priority over any of them. And you over everything. Releasing Morgana's soul should save yours as well, Giselle. If you can eliminate the mansion's darkness, then you won't have to be trapped as it's made. I have no interest in being the hero of the masses. Let's go ask about Mel's sister then. Okay. I turn my gaze back toward the nun to find her kneeling in one of the pews. She bows her head and begins to whisper a prayer. There's no one else in the chapel. Now's the perfect time to ask. Hearing me approach, she falls silent and turns to face me, wearing her usual disarming smile. Hello, Michelle. Mel was just here. He told me everything. Can't turn away a friend of Mel's, now can we? Sorry for turning you down earlier. No worries. I did a poor job of explaining myself. So, did you need something? And let me guess, medicine? No, I'm in perfectly good health. I figured you were lying. I can ask her about Sage's blood some other time. But while I have a number of questions about the man she's close with too, right now, Mel's sister is priority. Are you familiar with Mel's younger sister? She has flaxen hair much like him. Oh, you mean Nellie? Are you her friend too? I would say we're more... You're better off just saying you're friends. Well, friends, yes. What about her? I would like to speak of her, and I was wondering if you might know where I could find her. Nellie should be down at the cottage, I believe. The cottage? Yeah, that's where I stay too. I don't sleep in the mansion itself. So you don't live here but only work here? Right. For one, there are men who live here. The Lord likes to show up on occasion too, and we can't have a nun wandering around while he's here. So, you and Nellie live together then? Yeah, we have for about 6 months or so, ever since she and Mel showed up. I wanted to let her stay with her brother, but since this is technically church property, we have to keep the boys and girls separate. I see. I'm so glad to hear Nellie's got a friend though. What? She's not from around here, so she doesn't have many acquaintances. And with how sick she can get, she doesn't spend much time outside. Which is a shame because she's such a sweet little girl. I'm her friend, of course, but I've got responsibilities. I can only be around so often. so I'm sure she'd be delighted to have someone else to talk to. It will be my pleasure. Could you, tell me the way to the cottage, then? Oh, sure, it's not that far from here. You go down and... Socially engineering, our way into Nellie's location, basically doxing her. This is how, like, people, steal your information, by the way, like when they... Like, there's like a scam call or whatever. They get your information, they steal it, and then... Suddenly you have, your bank account is drained because they stole your details and pretended to be you. Anyway, the directions I got from them lead me to a place I know from my own time. It's the same building where the man who had been ordered to keep me under surveillance stayed. Sunlight seeps relentlessly through the trees, and I find myself having to look down at my feet as I follow the path. It's blindingly bright, painful. How are you holding up, Michelle? I'll be alright. The sun's past its peak. In a few hours, it won't be nearly as bad. Don't push yourself, okay? Okay. The trek is a reminder of just how inconvenient my body always was, and having this chance to experience being alive again comes with both the good parts and the bad. But now is hardly the time to complain about my sensitivity to the sun. It's not long before we reach a clearing, a small cottage surrounded by a small garden coming into view. And crouching by a flower bed picking flowers is a flaxen-haired girl. Are you Nellie? Though several details of appearance don't match my memory of her, she still has that distinct hair. It could be nobody else. This Nellie is considerably thinner and looks rather frail. The effects of her being ill, I presume. Who are you? My name is Michelle. I have a few questions to ask you. Can we talk for a bit? I would have thought she had said something by now. You're being way too blunt, Michelle. You've gone and scared her. What? What else was I supposed to say? You have to approach slowly and carefully. Go on, give her a smile. A nice soft smile. Smile. I'm only here to talk. This is not really a scary smile. There's nothing to be afraid of, haha. Okay, that's definitely not a nice smile. I can't even see it, I can still tell. What did you expect? I can't just smile on the man. Meg, it's a bad man. A bad man has come to kidnap me. Save me, dearest Mel, before this bad man does bad things to me. Calm down, please. I'm not gonna do anything to you. Don't come any closer. I know you're trying to do bad things to me. I'm not gonna do bad things to you. I couldn't even if I wanted to. Anyway. Don't move or I'll call the guards on you. Please, calm down. I mean you no harm, honestly. And that's what all bad men say. And that's what they do say. Just hell, don't just watch. This would be a fantastic time for a little advice. Got it. Well, maybe she'll calm down if you mention Mel. You're a genius. I'm a friend of Mel's. What? He was telling me about you and how you wanted someone to talk to. He asked me to go keep you company. Mel asked you to come talk to me? He did. Do you trust me now? So that makes you his friend then. As much as it pains me to admit it. Michelle, what on earth possessed you to say that? Slip of the tongue. You and him. Is that so? Yes? You're pretty old to be friends with my Mel. Are you really his friend? Really? Then prove it. How so? If you're really his friend, then you should be able to tell me all about him. Why in God's name would you ever subject me to that? You're not like Mel, Michelle. That's not it. We're just incompatible. Okay, here we go. First question. What does my Mel like most of all? Well, I know the question. I know the answer. It would be Nellie, you know? What happens if... Well, I don't know. Does it matter if I get this wrong? Am I getting another bad end if I get these answers wrong? The Nellie quiz? Nellie pop quiz. If I choose the answers wrong, will I get a game over? You know? Because obviously it's Nellie, but Also, naps might be like an okay answer. He does like naps. Let's say theater. He doesn't really like theater all that much. I adore it, but Mel always falls asleep. Romance especially just goes right over his head. Maybe in a couple years he'll understand it. Says his younger sister. Second question, what kind of person is my Mel? He's a spineless chump. He's a sycophant. He's a spineless chump. How could you? I misspoke. You claim you're his friend and you go call him spineless. You're not his friends at all, are you? No, I am. I just believe in order to be friends with someone, you need to acknowledge and accept the good and bad aspects of them. Or that's what Didier says anyway. Fair enough, I suppose. I don't think he's spineless at all, but maybe he acts differently around you. Well, he's my prince after all. I don't particularly care for that word myself. It reminds me of too much of Morgana's insistent harassment. Okay, final question. Describe what it looks like for me. Now let's see. I'm far better looking. I'm way better looking than him. That's not what I asked. You're just full of surprises today, aren't you, Michelle? It sounded funnier in my head. I will admit you do have a few things common with Mel. Such as... She's not really all that masculine, and neither are you. You know, at least in appearance, you might make an okay prince. You don't sound very flattered. Why would I be? Or why would I be? She said I wasn't masculine. Not everyone has to be big and beefy. I like you just the way you are, Michelle. I know you're just trying to make me feel better, but... Well, that's the last of my questions. You're not a complete stranger, it seems. Sure, why not? You'd be my Mel's friend. Oh, okay, it works out? Never mind, it just kinda works out anyway. You know, if it matters, I'll come back and, you know, reload it. But I imagine that all the other answers, you know, it doesn't really matter too much anyway. I just chose the funny answers. Oh, I thank you. Oh, this is great. I was sure you were a bad man. Why is it the first impression everyone has of me is never that I'm someone decent? Any friend of Mel's must be a good person. No, an amazing person. That's quite the faith you have in him. Why wouldn't I? He's my big brother. That's some circular logic. Is it just you, or is Mel not coming? He's rather busy at the moment. Oh, he always has something to take care of, that Mel. He's hardly given me any attention these past couple months. But that's okay, because today I've got you to keep me company. Yes, you do. I can't stay long, though. Alright, just stay until sundown, then. You have something you want to ask me, didn't you? Well, if you're a good enough friend, I'll tell you anything you want to know. And how do I go about that? Talking. Lots and lots of talking. You have to keep me entertained. You're asking far too much of me. She's not asking much at all. She just wants to talk. Do you think someone who spent 13 years in isolations knows the first thing about holding a pleasant conversation? Hey now, I was there for a year of that. I'll help you come up with topics, so go on. Do you not want to talk to me? No, I do. I'm just not much of a conversationalist. Oh, okay then, instead of talking, you can sing. I've never seen a minstrel before, but I always wanted to know what kinds of songs they sing. Will you show me? I've never seen one myself either. But I've heard second-hand accounts of the songs of traveling jongleurs. Jongleurs? Oh. Very well then. I'll teach you a song an old acquaintance of mine heard while traveling. Wee, I can't wait. Here it goes. Okay, and I assume he sang the song. Dame dane, dame yo, dame nanu yo, is what he sang. The silence is deafening. I'm shocked. I don't think I've ever heard someone sing so badly. Me neither. I'm flabbergasted. Let's hear you try then. That's enough singing for today. I don't want my ears to fall off. What a vicious little girl. I know, let's bake something. Bake something? Well, Michelle's horrible at cooking though. Yep, come on inside. I made some nice jam earlier today. I will make it into a pretty low pie. You get to help me with that. I'm not much of a... Come on, get a move on. You either help or you don't get to be my friend. As you wish. This is not going to end well. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. How on earth do you manage to turn a pie into this monstrosity? I give it my best shot. There's only one explanation, you're possessed. It's true, he is, but I'm perfectly a good chef. Michelle's just naturally terrible at it. God, could this go any worse? I can't give this a Mel. Jerk, dimwit, loser. Baka. I'm sorry. Well, I guess we've got no choice but eat ourselves. I'll set the table. What? But I'll make it some tea while I'm at it. You know, I've always dreamed of this, sitting around the table with a friend, having snacks and just talking. Oh? Yep, and for that I could deal with a little awful disgusting pie. It's just too bad I couldn't share with my Mel too. I see. For all her complaining, she seems to be enjoying herself. I can only imagine how lonely she is out here. While she may act all bright and cheerful, beneath it all is this real sense of isolation. And the same can be said about the girl behind the first door. As vicious and pushy as she can be, you can see hints of loneliness behind it all. Her brother was practically all she had while she lived in the mansion. But if I were to guess, that's not the life she really wanted. I bet she would have preferred to be able to go out and play with her friends. Being born into a noble family takes away a lot of your freedom. Even in such a drastically different time periods, she's still the same girl inside. Actually, maybe the parallels extend beyond her as a person and into the curses of her two different lives. Perhaps that means all those who were reconstructed in Morgana's wish are destined to lead similar lives. Though destined might be putting it too nicely. Nelly. I will be glad to lend you my ear if you would like. You can talk about the weather, your brother, anything you want. You will? Great, well take a seat. I've got lots I want to talk about. More than you could possibly imagine. She'd make a good streamer, I don't know. Just never stops talking. She should do like vlogs or something, or vlogs rather. Anyway, you'll never guess what Mel said next. And that I mean more to him than anyone in the world. So I'm growing flowers in the garden, right? Well, when I got enough of them, I'm gonna make a big bouquet, and give it to Mel. Back at home, we got this really big yard with this huge tree we used to take naps under when it was nice out. So what do you think about the tea I made? The flower's petals is what really ties it all together. There's a lot of talking. Oh, and you won't believe what happened after that. And thus 3 days has passed, and then tragedy strikes. Now, care for another cup of tea? I'll make as much as you can drink. No, thank you, I'm fine. I feel like all I did was nod and listen, and the bulk of it was about Mel, no less. I haven't talked that much in ages. Time sure flew by, huh? The sun's starting to set. Do you and the nun not speak much? We do, but it's kind of, I don't know, not really the same of her. It just feels, I guess, like she's too important for me to waste her time, being the lady in charge of the church and pretty much the whole estate. And what about Mel? Does he not visit you very often? No, he does. He comes to see me a lot. Then why? Well, he hasn't been himself lately. My old Mel would always happily listen to whatever I had to say, but now he seems kind of distracted. It sounds like he's really busy. When he visits, he doesn't stay for long, and he has to go back to the mansion at night. I'll try to get him to stay longer, but it never works. And he always tries to avoid questions when I ask why he can't. It feels like he's hiding something. Knowing what he's hiding, I can understand why he wouldn't want to talk about it. And he could never tell his precious little sister that he and 2 other men have a girl locked up in the tower, and that he's stealing her blood for her sake. I wish things could have stayed the way they were before. the way they were before. But it was just the two of us living together. I know we're more stable here, and I can get the medicine I need from the church. But I'd rather stay being sick than be so alone. You said you came here around 6 months ago. Yep, it was just the two of us before that. Well, before that, at our old house we had a bunch of servants. But I never really liked it there either. With that many people around, it just felt more alone. I liked it so much better when it was just me and Mel. Is that really what you want? To being sick and constant pain? It's better than being alone. Mel just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand that loneliness is much worse. Or maybe that's just a guy thing. This is a guy thing. They don't get what it's like to be ignored. But it feels like to be left in the dark not knowing anything. We don't understand, no. We think saving their lives matters above all. Huh? Even if there's a cost to saving that life, we're incapable of gauging how great it is. We're unable to see how egotistical, how self-serving our actions are. Are you talking about yourself? Because it just seems like you're just talking about yourself. The same can be said of Mel as well, I imagine. Well, Mel's still around, though. He's there, but it's like he's trying to avoid me. All I want is for him to be here, to be with me. That's all I really want. He doesn't even have to be a perfect fairy tale prince. Have you ever told him that? What? Have you ever told him that he doesn't have to be the perfect brother? That you'd be happy with just having him here? Have you ever put those feelings to words? I'm always telling him I want him around. That he doesn't have to be your prince to do so. He's already said he would be my prince. He always smiles whenever I talk about it. So how am I supposed to turn around and say he doesn't have to be my prince anymore? I know it's not your intention to force an ideal image onto him, but unconsciously, subconsciously, that's what you're doing when you talk like that. And Mel, he's trying to meet those expectations. Actually, he may not be conscious of it himself. He just believes deep down that that's the kind of person he's supposed to be. But more accurately, he seems to have a need to make himself look good to others. He believes that if he's good to others, they'll be good to him in return. Am I a burden? I can assure you he's better off with you around. But I am a burden to him right now, aren't I? Be honest with me. Yes, you are. Does Mel not like me anymore? Is that why he's been avoiding me? I promise you that's not the case. At the very least, he's doing what he's doing now because about how much he cares about you. You promise? I promise. I love him. I love my Mel so very much. Too much, in fact. To be honest, I know I do. I understand that, really. I know I'm making his life difficult, but Mel's all I have. He's the only person I can latch onto, and I can't control my feelings. It can be difficult to tame your emotions at your age. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you should have taken stock of those emotions, sorted through everything you got on your mind, and sat down with him to talk it out, even if those things you feel seem wrong or unspeakable. You should have opened up to him, taken the time to figure out what works best for both of you. You two need to face things you carried in your heart, the things your brother carried in his. By not doing so, you end up never quite on the same page, small misunderstandings piling up until it all comes crashing down. If they just talked it out, communicated their feelings to one another, maybe their tragedy could have been avoided, even the Morgana's curse in play. I mean, isn't that? I mean, that's the crux of everything I said before. Every single romance, any romance like story, you know. If they just sat down and talked about it, there wouldn't be any conflict, would there? But then it'd be a boring story, you know. That's the point. Yeah. If Nellie had only had a chance to come to grips with her feelings for Mel, then maybe things wouldn't have escalated the way they did. Her actions that night were arguably hysteric, but she wasn't always like that. I'm sorry. I was out of line. None of this is any of my business, I know. No need to apologize. You're a very curious man, you know that? Huh? We only met a couple of hours ago, but you talk like you've known me my whole life. It's like you can hear everything I'm thinking, see everything in my heart. Did Mel tell you all of that? No, he did not tell me much. I didn't think so. He doesn't know me that well. It's not too late, is it? If I talk to him, really tell him how I feel, do you think Mel will listen? I know he will. It won't make things worse. It won't make him uncomfortable. There's a chance that rifts may form at first, but those cracks can be filled again. And I promise you, there's always something much more better if you... there's always something much better than if you had held it in. You know, you wouldn't be go full yandere, you know, and wear like a wig of somebody's hair. It will all work out. Okay. Next time I see Mel, I'll tell him. I'll tell him he doesn't have to try to be my prince. Good. You really are a curious man. You're the first person to ever talk to me like I'm a real person. Everyone loves to say how sweet and adorable I am, but that's it. I was only ever their make-believe princess. You are a real person, I assure you. Thanks. You know, after talking to you, I'm feeling a whole lot better. Like I can't do anything. I'm glad you came by today. I'm glad I could meet you in person. Oh, it's weird. It really feels weird. It feels like we've known each other for our entire lives. I've known of you for some time. Or perhaps I should say, what you will become. Huh? Oh, no. Ignore me. Was that supposed to be a pickup line? Bad, Michelle. I'm still too young for that. Cops, you know. Police didn't really exist back then, right? It would be more like militia, I guess, you know? The guards. Just like, stop! You violate the law! No, I wasn't. And now you're getting flustered. I swear that's not what that was. I know. Jeez, you think I trust you that little? Sorry. Ooh, I just had the most wonderful idea. Oh? Yeah? Instead of being my friend, I'll let you be something even better. You're my second brother. Amazing. Second brother. A brother is much more special to me than a friend, though obviously you can't be my number one. I'm blanking. I'm blanking. She's taking a liking to you. This is good for us. I'm not sure how I feel about her putting so much trust in me so quickly, though. The amount of time it takes isn't important. What matters is that you listen to her, you understand her, you treat her like a real person. In her eyes, you're someone she can depend on. Do you not want me as your sister? Actually, I was the youngest child, so having a younger sibling would be, Would be what? Come on, spit it out. It would be rather nice. You bet it would. Who wouldn't want an adorable little sister like me? That's a bit narcissistic, wouldn't you say? Well, it's true, isn't it? Go on, tell me, I'm adorable, dearest Michelle? What? Well, don't just stare at me. If my Mel were here, he wouldn't bat an eye. Please don't compare me to him. You know, now might be a good time to tell her about Morgana. Part of me feels like I would be taking advantage of her newly earned trust, but it will certainly be easier to bring up now while she holds me in such regard. She's much more likely to believe me. You're right. I agree now is probably the best chance we'll get, especially considering how little time we have. I can't shake the feeling I'm rushing things, but at this point all I can do is go with it and pray how it works out. If we had the time, I think we'll all like to hold it off. Nelly looks like she's having so much fun, and even you seem to be enjoying yourself. No, I'm just... It's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm having fun watching you myself. Let's do it. Let's tell about Morgana. Well, we have to do it at some point anyway. Yes, let's. Nelly, do you mind if I ask you a question? What is it, dearest Michelle? Ask me anything you want. Have you ever heard of something called Saint's Blood? You mean the medicine? Yes, except it's not actually... I know, yeah. It's actually the saintess' blood, not medicine. But no telling. You... what? One day, before we moved here, when it was just me and Mel, the saintess came to visit. My mind had been all foggy for a long time, like I was not quite asleep, but not quite awake either. But when I heard her soft, pleasant voice, the fog cleared a bit. And then she performed a miracle for me. Blood is awful and gross and terrible, but the saintess' hers is different. Hers is pure. So you're saying you know everything, Nelly? About the observation tower and... Huh? The tower? What about it? Well, that's where they keep her. What? No, the saint is always in the chapel. She stays here with me. She comes back at nights. In fact, she should be here any minute now. So she thinks the saintess is the nun, and not Morgana. No, Nelly. That blood comes from... I'm really, really grateful to her. She didn't just perform the one miracle, she's been taking care of me while I'm here too. So whenever I see her, I always say thank you. I thank her for sharing her blood with me. I mean, it makes sense. I remember actually, in the original story that Morgana told us, you know, when we're climbing the stairs a while back, Nelly should know about the blood because that's how she got better in the first place, right? When she gave her the blood. But obviously it seems like she doesn't know exactly where the blood comes from. She thinks it's from the saintess. I assume that's what Mel told her. And she always says it's nothing with a big smile. Nelly, no. The nun has no idea. She just assumes Nelly's thanking for giving her the medicine. I owe the saintess my life. No, Nelly. She's not the one you should be grateful to. Huh? The girl you owe your life to has been locked up, suffering and alone even as we speak. But the saintess is at the church? The girl who came to visit you is not the nun everyone calls the saintess. Her name is Morgana. What are you talking about, Michelle? The saintess is locked up? Stop that. I have no idea what you're talking about. Everything I'm telling you is the truth. Believe me. While you were lying in bed, sick and barely conscious, did you get a good look at the saintess who gave you her blood? You didn't, did you? You couldn't make out any details because your mind was a haze. And then when you arrived at this estate, you met a woman who people called the saintess, giving out medication known as saint's blood. So you assumed she was the one who had killed you. That's the story you chose to believe. If what you're saying is true, then where's the other saintess? The one who came to see me? At the top of the mansion's observation tower. The door to the tower is locked. She's imprisoned there. And how do you know this? Because it wouldn't be wise to tell her I'm from the future just yet. That'll only serve to confuse her further. All I need to convince her of right now is that Morgana is being held in the tower. There's an idea. Perhaps I can borrow from the story of the white-haired girl the white-haired girl told Mel. I received a letter. A letter? There's a single window, far out of reach, in the chamber at the top of the tower. A dove flew in through the window, and so she wrote a letter, tying it to the bird's leg and releasing it in the hope someone would come to set her free. The letter ended up in my hands. If that's the case, then who locked her up? Was it the saintess, the one I know? No, I don't believe the nun is aware. I think she's simply doing her job in good faith. Then who? Michelle. I know very well that what I'm about to say would likely crush her, but I can't let that stop me. Who would do such a terrible thing? Nelly, I want you to brace yourself for what I'm about to say. There are 3 men participating in Morgana's imprisonment. And one of those 3 is your brother, Mel. Or is your brother, Mel, rather. I was saying like as if I'm talking to Mel. No, is your brother, Mel. I understand that's the last thing you wanted to hear, but please believe me, I will not say something so upsetting lightly. I wish to save Morgana, the true saint. And I would like your assistance. Without your help, I can't get her out of that tower. I need you to get through to Mel, otherwise both he and Morgana will remain entrapped. That's not true. Nelly. You're lying. You have to be. My Mel would never do something so horrible. You're a terrible liar. It's true, I swear to you. You think I'm gonna believe that? My Mel? My Mel's an amazing, wonderful person. He's not cruel or evil. He's good and kind, like a prince. And a prince would never lock someone up. I know you're not blind, Nelly. You see that all your prince talk has been putting pressure on him. So? You think that's gonna change my mind? There's no reason to do any of that. Well, he does, Nelly. He's certainly not happy about it, no, but he's doing it for you. What do you mean? He needs her blood to keep you healthy, so to ensure he always had a supply. But no, And despite that, Saint's blood probably doesn't even have healing properties. No one benefits from doing this. Not you, not Mel's, and certainly not Morgana. I don't think anyone can stop him except you. Mel won't listen to me. Did you not just say you would talk things through with him? Just shut up, stop talking already. I'm done listening to you. Nelly. I'll never believe you. You're not my brother anymore, you're just a horrible, horrible man. Who do you think you are to march in here and try to make my Mel into a bad guy? And after I made you my second brother. What's wrong with you? I trusted you. I hate nasty pie had tea with you. But you're just a mean, evil man who turned me against my Mel. I know you don't want to believe me, but I'm telling you the truth, every word. I beg you to open your eyes. Ask him yourself. If you don't believe me, then ask Mel about Morgana. I guarantee you he'll panic. Enough already. Get out of here. Get out, this instant. Nelly. Don't say my name, just go away, get out of here. Now. I don't want to see you ever again. I should have chased you off the moment I saw you. Get out, now. I pray you can find it yourself to open your eyes and face the truth. Get out! One last thing before I go, Nelly. Okay, I think he did something, but obviously the game didn't show us. It was my only option, I know that. But I feel like all I accomplished by telling her was bring her more pain. It's a difficult balance. We just have to pray that you're able to get through to her. I'm sure she'll come around. If only we had a little bit more time. In 3 days it'll be all over. Morgana and the entire web of people connected to her will die. That's not enough time. Let's return to the mansion and look for Mel. I would like to speak with him. If there's a chance we can get even the smallest bit of Nelly's feelings through to him, maybe he'll have a change of heart. Hopefully. It's hardly going to be elegant, but it's what must be done. Ah, did you just get back? The Sages was telling me you went to see Nelly. What do you think? Sweet girl, isn't she? That she is. Though she can be a bit a handful at times. I'm glad you keep her company for a bit. Now, just to be sure, you kept a lid on all your crazy talk, right? Nope. She treated me to some tea. Nothing more. Ah, the stuff with the flower petals in it, yeah? She thinks there's some kind of charm to make it taste better. Girls seem to have a thing for stuff like that. Mel. Could you spare a bit of time for me? We need to talk. We need to talk. You know, the words you never want to hear from anyone. We need to talk, okay? We need to talk. Oh, sure. Can you wait a bit, though? I have to run a little errand after supper. When I'm done with that, I'll meet you in your room. Alright. Again? You think the errand is bringing Morgana her meal, presumably. We might be able to catch the three of them opening the door if we trail Mel. It's too big a risk. Mel's already wary enough as it is. I concur. And we don't know how the other two might react either. It's best to play it safe. No one's gonna come to our defense if we're caught, not at this point in time. So we're better off waiting in our room. Agreed. I just wonder if we're just gonna die again, you know? Are we just gonna die again? I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. If Mel comes in and it's like, it's them, kill them, you know, again. We'll see.